Ice storm has begun, has just started, and the freezing rain, and you can see stuff is covered with ice. What it does is it rains, and when it touches it, it freezes. Come on, Mary. Mary Jane, come on. Mary Jane's got her outfit on. Come on, Mary. Come on. Mary. Mary. Come on. Come with Mama. Ooh. So everything has a fine layer. My fish are fine. They go into what's called a suspended animation. Yeah, I said that one right. But what happens is the power lines and everything gets coated. One time we had an ice storm. I think it was, my granddaughter was 4 or 5 years old. And Larry was in San Diego, of course. Every time he goes to San Diego, something epic happens. 911 happened. The blackout, the earthquake, a spring break quake that we had. He always goes to San Diego. I had 2 car accidents, one head-on and one sideswipe while he was in San Diego. But I guess because he goes to San Diego all the time, or he was. And his dad was alive. Come on, Mary! Mary! Come on! Mary! Come on! I think she's hard of hearing. And these are the rhododendrons. And you can tell when it's freezing, they get covered with ice, but they'll be okay. These grow wild up towards Mount Hood in the town of Rhododendron. One time there was some quail that were under the tree, and poor little things. I went to take them some corn, and they didn't move, and I thought, well, that's strange. They usually scatter. Come to find out, their tails were frozen to the ground, and they couldn't fly away. Now, when we get wind, yeah, we're going to lose this tree. You wait and see. Darn it. My favorite tree. Anyway, driving on it is impossible. We got caught in freezing rain one time. Deanna was giving a concert at, I forget, somewhere by the airport. And we had to stop the concert right in the middle and go home because the freezing rain was starting. Well, we got 5 miles. Our car was spinning and spinning on the freeway, and we said, nope. So we had to pull over, and we spent the night at a hotel. I can't even walk in this. Oops. Although I'm having a hard time walking. Oh my, do I hear helicopter? Oh dear. Life flight. Oh no. That means there was a bad accident. My brother was life flighted one time. They were going to call life flight on me for my accident, and then they were going to call life flight. In fact, they were getting the front of my field ready so the helicopter could land, because I had an artevenous malformation aneurysm that burst, and my heart went into heart failure. I really thought I was going to die, and I asked my husband to bring Maddie to my side. She was about 2 years old. And I said, I love you, goodbye. And anyway, they couldn't get the helicopter, it was too busy. It was $800 for one way. And your insurance doesn't pay for it. Look at my... I don't know if I could go anymore. See the tree? I wanted to go in the back here. Oh, hope I don't fall. I have my pendant with me. If I get into trouble medically, I just press that. It saved my life a few times. Anyway, they took me by ground. Code 3, and I told the guy, I says, please hold my hand, I don't want to die alone. And Larry was following the ambulance with Maddie. And next thing I knew, they had all the equipment out to give me CPR. I guess my heart had stopped, and then it started back up because they were stopped right in the middle of the road on the freeway overpass because my hemoglobin had dipped way down. I don't know what it was back then, but the lowest I know about is I was 5.1, and that's usually deadly. But, oh, I wish I brought some apples for the deer. Oh, I'm not doing very good, but I wanted to show you these trees. Poor birdies. But oh boy, we're going to lose a tree. I know we're going to lose some tree. We're going to lose power for sure. Our power has been turning off and on. And it was supposed to be off for 24 hours, but back when Larry was gone, we had a 2-week ice storm. And we had limbs and trees and everything everywhere. And I had Maddie with me. And I had to entertain her for 2 weeks. But we had the Scotties and Satin. Oh, why did I have Satin? I can't remember. I had Satin. But anyway, the dogs couldn't go outside to go potty because of the fallen limbs were too dangerous. See that tree? Anyway, as you can see, this is really hard. This is ice on top of snow. And you cannot... Oh! Deer tracks! Ah! Deer tracks. We have a mama. Well, there were 2 big deer. Mama and a baby. But the baby's a year old. I won't be able to go up those steps, that's for sure. Show you these. I wish I could fly my drone. That would be a hoot. But the drone, no way. Ice would kill it. There's my beautiful tree peonies. I don't know. They don't look very healthy. Mine doesn't look very good. Mine isn't going to die. My sister told me she thought I would probably die soon. I think it was wishful thinking. My family does not love me. I guess they thought the best way to deal with me for my lying about my health, that there was nothing wrong with me, that I didn't have pain, and that my hemoglobin did not get down that low, even though I sent them the lab reports. Stupid me, I should have said, you know what, kiss off. I don't need to prove anything to you. Anyway, they didn't believe my hemoglobin was that low, because one of them worked for a doctor and another one is a veterinarian doctor teacher. So, of course, they convinced everybody the way to deal with someone who's looking for sympathy is not giving sympathy. Broken heart. Because I went to the hospital by myself time and time again. Because at that same time, we were being scammed. We had this girl who stole checks from our mailbox. 2 boxes of checks. Or the mail lady sold it to her. The Postmaster General said, you know, most of these check frauds and stuff like that, mail fraud, he said about 85% inside job. So he was pretty sure that the mail carrier probably sold my 2 boxes of checks to Bubba, and Bubba sold it to his cousin, and his cousin sold it to Don Johnson and Luke. I can't remember her name. Anyway, they immediately drew out $35,000 out of our checking account because we had a $25,000 overdraft protection. And my husband, because he traveled, had to keep a large amount of money in his checking account. Even though I kept saying I didn't think that was safe. But anyway, so that was January 16, the day after Martin Luther's. And our mail didn't come. Anyway, she wrote check after check after check. Even though we had reported them as stolen, she changed the routing number. She would make 8 into a 3 or a 5 into a 9. She had... Anyway, they kept writing checks. They bought a car for $10,000. They bought $9,999 worth of furniture at Standard TV, and then they had an older couple that wanted to pick it up right then, but the guy says something's wrong, and so they checked it out, and sure enough, they were thieves. So, but they took off before he got their license plate. And then she went down the road on 82nd Street. She lived in a mobile home park there on 82nd Street, where all the drug addicts and meth labs, tweakers live. So, anyway, she, between me and one other family, they wrote $110,000 worth of checks. But my husband had to go have each check notarized. He had to get off work and have it notarized. There's the deck to the guest house. That is really nice. We can have a homeless camp here. Anyway, hey, we should put a tiny house in there. So, anyway, they kept writing checks, and whoops, she opened up 5 credit cards in my name. She bought a GMC Jimmy for close to $10,000. Anyway, anything under $10,000, they there's a certain thing that they don't go after them. So writing a check for under $10,000 kept her from being arrested. Anyway, they went to Fred Meyer and they bought a set of wedding rings. They said that they had been on a mission up in Alaska and that they were doing Bible studies and stuff with people. What a bunch of liars. Anyway, she bought herself a beautiful $2,700 ring, wedding ring, and a $750 ring for Luke. Well, he had hepatitis C. He was dying of liver failure because of his heroin. He was a heroin addict. So I got the brochure of the ring and I tried to get the car reported as stolen, and they told me we better get insurance on it because we're liable. So I had to pay for insurance, and Oregon would not take it as stolen because it wasn't stolen. I was so pissed. So anyway, we kept trying to find her, and I went around to every store on 82nd Street and I took pictures of description of her name and my name, not to accept any checks from me because that wasn't me. She had 5 driver's licenses with my name. Anyway, so she and Luke were up in Vancouver, but I used to be a sheriff's deputy and I love sleuthing. I'm a pretty good sleuth. And I sent a brochure to every police agency around, even up into Longview, mid-Washington. And I said, they're driving a GMC Jimmy. They painted it hillbilly chrome, meaning they painted it silver. And so they would be driving the GMC Jimmy, and she'd be wearing this wedding ring. And I sent a brochure, the picture of the wedding ring, to every station and substation. And I was mad. Well, because my husband was working for Motorola designing 911 systems, we had a lot of equipment in our home that could not be left alone. We didn't have an alarm system in those days. And I was in the hospital. I would have to go by myself to the hospital to have the transfusions because Dawn and her husband had come into our house. We lived up the street. I kept begging my husband at the home show, let's get this Fort Knox mailbox instead of just a regular mailbox. And he says, are you out of your mind? That's $200, $250. I said, Larry, I think it's unsafe for us to have the mailbox like it is. Well, he refused to listen to me. And we got into a squabble on the way out of the home show because I wanted that. I think it was $250 for a Fort Knox mailbox. And that was the fall home show. Well, he says, nobody's going to steal our mail. We've lived here forever and no one's ever stole our mail, so don't worry about it. We don't need that. Well, 2 months later, let me tell you, it cost us a lot of money. And my husband spent 80 hours going to the bank, having each check notarized, and he had to make a statement with the notary that he did not write that check. Anyway, it was a mess, and it was horrible for us because we felt violated big time. So then she and Luke went to, they told them at Fred Meyer Jeweler that they had saved, while they were up in Alaska on the mission, saved all this money to buy their wedding ring, and that they got married at a church, and blah, blah, blah. What a bunch of liars. Anyway, so, my hands are frozen. So then, I can't even open my car. There's no way we can drive anywhere. So then, she went to get her ring sized and wrote, $100 check, my check, to have her ring resized. And she gave them the same blah blah, Jesus loves me story and all that cockamamie poo-poo lies about being a godly person. And the jeweler thought, wow, what a nice couple, but the track marks on their arms were a little bit off-putting. But, these are tweakers. So, then I took flyers to every business on 82nd, and I said, do not cash this check from me, my name. And I went into Capitol Records, that record store, and I said, I'll give you $100 reward if you catch them. Well, half hour later, they went in, spent $400. And then, on the next morning, on Friday, I got a call from some Oriental guy, and he was cussing at me, calling me every name in the book, using the F word, and because my $8,000 check had bounced for the computer equipment. I'm sure they didn't keep that computer equipment. They just turned around and sold it. And I said, you were in too much of a hurry to call the bank to check out and make sure. You F-E-F-E-F-E-B-B-B-F-E. I says, you know what? My bank will cover your charges. No, you lie, you F-E lie. You F-E-B, you F-E-B. And I says, okay, I'm going to make sure my bank does not cover your check. And I did. He never got paid because he was being a jerk. He did not need to cuss at me. Look at these little bird tracks. Cute. Anyway, so Don and Luke were up in Washington, up in Longview. And they went into the 7-Eleven or the Mini Mart at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And the deputy had just read the fax that I had sent half hour earlier. And so he went in and he looked at her ring and saw that she was driving a GMC. Jimmy, game on. And then, hi Tom! Over here, just keep walking. Anyway, Luke saw what was going on, and he swallowed his ring, and she was arrested. Anyway, it was her 13th felony conviction for check fraud and all that stuff. So she was facing a couple years in prison. So I went to talk to her mom, And her mom was just sad. She couldn't believe, and she was sad that her daughter was going to prison for a long time. I says, well, so anyway, I made a deal with the judge. I says, if she can keep her nose clean for 6 months, I will be okay with her just sending 6 months in jail. And then after that, she has to be no bad checks or anything. Hi, Tom. Is it cold? It's our neighbor, Tom. Yeah, come on in. So anyway, I couldn't walk because I was having serious problems with my artist venous malformation. Crohn's. Oh, look at my hair. My hair is totally frozen. One time I sat in the hot tub. It's frozen. My hair is frozen. Look at it. Whoa, that's weird. Anyway, I was sitting in the hot tub in the ice, and I love sitting in the hot tub on an ice cold night like this, and my hair froze to the side. So I went to move my head and I couldn't get up, so I just put warm water on it and thought. Anyway, I went to court and I faced Dawn because I got to give an victim's impact statement. And I told her exactly how it hurt me and how I couldn't believe that she passed herself off as a Christian, and that it just made me sad that she would do this to us, and we'd never done anything to hurt her. And then it's been our life's mission to help others and to be loving and kind. And she sat there crying. Anyway, I had gotten her a beautiful leather Bible, and I had her name inscribed on it. And I says, Dawn, I forgive you. But I want you to know it really, really hurt me and my husband, and I don't trust anybody. But I forgive you. I understand your drug addiction is driving this, and she had a pretty rough growing up. Anyway, the judge almost cried. He says, in all my years on the bench, I've never seen anybody do this. Anyway, I got her a beautiful purple women's Bible, study Bible, and it's for women. And I says, take this to jail with you. And I don't think she could take it into jail, but maybe she could, I don't know. But her mom was so thankful. But I don't know what happened. I know Luke died because of his hepatitis. Anyway, that's my story of being frauded. There's more to it, but it's long enough. I hope you enjoyed the walk around my frozen yard.